Recreation Commission meeting for tonight, March 11th.
Yeah.
We'll start with the call to order. I've got Member Mike Bosky,
Here.
Secretary Judy Brennan,
Here.
alternate Justin Brunel,
Here.
Vice Chair Peter Ames,
Here.
and Member Andy Ruggles.
Here.
And I'm Christopher Burns, Head Chair. I'll now ask everybody to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do I have any additions to the agenda?
We have a subtraction.
Subtraction.
New business, B, the elections of the new positions. I was just told will be next meeting.
Okay.
I put it on there because I wasn't sure if we were doing it tonight because it is election day, but, so that'll go to, I'll put that on for the next meeting, March 20th.
One other thing, I know a member from LGSL is here. It's not in the facility field
It's
request,
gonna
but
be, public input,
public input. Okay, great.
so that you can get,
I think there was another field request as well, though.
yeah, but that didn't arrive on time,
So that's gonna go on next week.
so it's gonna go on
Okay.
in 2 weeks, but I did make you copies of the ones that were in on time.
Perfect, thank you. All right, any other additions or subtractions? No? Move on to the approval of minutes from the last meeting, which was the 25th. Everybody have a chance to review those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the 25th.
Second.
Any edits, changes?
One thing on the roll call and the votes. So there were 5 members on the roll call, but the votes were all 4 members. Did someone come in late?
I wasn't. here.
Litchfield TV.
No, didn't we,
Who was here? It was you,
we
me,
have to
Justin. Were you here?
elevate Justin to full member? Yeah, you might not have.
No, we
I thought we
did because
did.
I forgot at the beginning. Yeah.
I thought you only had 4 here.
I thought we only had 4 here, too.
Myself, Mike, Justin, Andrew, Jeff was,
Jeff was not here.
Jeff wasn't here, I don't believe.
he's listed as abstaining.
Probably because he wasn't here.
Was Jeff here?
No, Jeff was here.
Jeff was here. It
Yeah.
was- Justin, were you here?
I was here, yeah.
All right, so there was 5 of us.
Okay.
So the vote should be changed to 5.
Yep.
All right, any other edits? Anybody noticed? All right, and we have an approval, we have a second. All those in favor to approve those minutes with the minor adjustment?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Abstain.
Passes 302. Next, we will open the floor to public input. So, yep.
I'm Mike Marzelli. I'm the new president of Litchfield Girls Softball League, also a resident. Appreciate you guys having me here tonight. Coming to speak with the interest of collaboration to try to support LGSL. Chris had reached out to let us know that we had a field request to use the field from an outside organization on Thursday nights this year. LGSL is just looking to maintain our blanket request, at least until we can get our schedule set so that we can prioritize making sure that all of our teams are taken care of. We currently have 3 teams returning from last year, 1 at each age level, and we continue to maintain or intend to maintain Wednesday night as our practice night. But we are looking to actively add multiple teams at different levels. We have interest in a second 8U team, potentially a second 10U team, and a second 6U team. We also have some interest in a 12U team. And so it's our intent to collaborate with everybody that wants to use the field, and we recognize that it's a good thing for Litchfield when people want to pay to use the field. We're simply asking for right of first refusal, at least until beginning of next month, when we can set our schedule. Because if we're able to add additional teams, we need to add additional coaches, and we can't keep the practice on the same night because we're already using all 3 fields on Wednesdays. So given the fact that finding coaches is difficult, we're hoping to at least be able to maintain the other Wednesday, Thursday Monday and Tuesday as open nights so that we can figure out when we might need to host another practice before we start renting out the field to outside organizations. Certainly, if the commission decides that they want to move forward with that, we'll respect that and we'll work around that. But we're trying to grow the league as best we can, and so we're just trying to advocate for our ability to be flexible. We should be able to determine when our schedule will be set by the first week in April.
So you have the fields?
Yeah.
Just as we're concerned, you have the fields?
Okay.
And these requests that come in have to go through you as well.
Okay.
So if Thursday night doesn't work for you because you have, meetings or practices or whatever, they're not gonna be able to use that night. So they're either gonna have to work out another night or they're not gonna get the field
Okay,
usage.
that's good to know, because that
Yeah.
wasn't how it was presented, so that's not, or not how I understood.
Am I incorrect in saying that?
No, because our
mean, my-
home leagues all get, first
First right of refusal.
right of refusal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my
For-profits
concern
are
is that
basically last.
pushing them out though, until they get the schedule. Like, I mean, this is one situation with one field, but if we do this at every single field, if we have people that request the fields, yeah, there's a blanket request in there. But if they don't have the schedule lined up for another month, then can we push those requests out until the schedule is in line, or is that something?
They can use it until their schedule comes out and then they may have to switch at that time.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're not going to be using it for the next month anyway, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But
Should
once you
anyone-
figure it out,
Honestly, should anyone be using it for the next month?
no.
Nobody's gonna be
We
using
don't
it.
think we have,
Their
we're
request,
looking for our earliest
This
request
request
is
in-
4/6, April 6th.
is that the one for Plex you're looking
And
at?
that's for 16U, which will be on the next
So
agenda.
that's the one that came in
'cause
last
they
week,
missed the submission date.
But there was
The
another.
other one's April 19th.
Yeah, so it doesn't start until then anyway, but, I mean, I'm just concerned about a request coming in, telling them that we can't accept the request when we ask everybody else to bring their requests in by a certain date. So if we push them out another month before we.
We can
approve them,
accept their request, but we
Yeah,
just
that's
need
what
to
I'm getting
explain to them that
That's what I'm getting
once they're
We
soft.
can approve it pending LGSL
Yeah.
approval.
And it's our intent to collaborate with anyone and
Yeah.
everyone, and if everybody says, hey, we don't need Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, great, everybody else can have the fields. We just want to make sure, especially if we have new coaches and new teams, and they say, hey, I can only coach on Thursdays, that we have the ability to just have that right of first refusal, and then we can collaborate with everyone.
These approvals, I believe, are gonna have to be pending anyway, because I don't believe we have a COI for them yet, and, there was something, and we now made them, have to pay up front. So they don't really get to use
I
the
thought we
fields
weren't
until they
doing
do
that. I thought we were still gonna invoice.
No, that's not what we talked about with the town,
Yeah, the town wants it paid up front.
collecting payments up front. That
And
way
we're
they
gonna
can't-
reimburse
that way
people
they
when,
can't- Yeah, they
if there's-
can't back out
If
on
they-
days.
if they
No,
don't-
They pay for the days they request. So if they have a rain out or something like that.
or
If we have to
if we
cancel
shut
it,
down
they
the
get a
field.
request. They get a refund. If we shut it down, if they just choose not to use it, they don't get a refund.
Okay, that makes sense.
So if it's weather pending or like something where we say it's not safe to be out there, they're flooded, you can't use them, they'll get a refund for that date. But if they, like, we've had teams request and just not show up, and then it was time to pay, and they're like, oh, well, we didn't go on that day and this day, but the fields were reserved for them, so that's how we came about that.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's just, it's more effort on the back end. They have to go back and track how many days they actually used it.
So is that how we're communicating it? That like,
That's,
do
I
we
believe
have
that's what it says
communications?
in the application.
Also, do these leagues know they're gonna be charged for porta potties this year for the portables? Like, is the town gonna handle that? I know the town would handle the billing, or is the town gonna let the teams
thought
and
that was
leagues
part of
know,
the
or do
fee.
they?
Are you talking about for tournaments, or are you talking about for a
No,
practice?
Because we lost that money in the budget for portable
I thought that was
bathrooms.
covered under the fee that we're charging, part of it.
Yeah, that's my recollection as well.
But that's just for,
But so I think
ones
that
We
Yeah,
haven't adjusted the fee structure. I think there was some discussion about doing
okay,
that.
but I mean, our regular leagues too, right? We don't charge our
I thought that was
non-profit.
coming out. I thought we weren't doing that.
Yeah, I think we talked about it for tournaments when there was excess players, but not for normal.
I thought it's not in our budget anymore. I thought
No, I
it
think,
was
I think it
removed.
is, because you can't,
I
Can't
think they
have
let
a-
1,500 in.
You have a line item unfunded.
They left 1,500 in that line item to cover having one at the tennis courts and at Dara, because the playground's there and the tennis courts are not league specific. It dropped down to like $1,500.
But we'll find out at our next, when they either approve or disapprove the budget at the town meeting today, right?
Yeah, it kind of depends on what happens tonight.
It kind of depends on what happens tonight.
That wasn't something that was on the voting. It was removed by.
Understood, but once the budget's approved, then we'll
Okay.
get to see the budget and find out what they actually put in there for us.
Okay.
Because I don't know off the top of my head.
I know we had talked about trying to get that money added back in, but we never did.
Yeah, I was
So
told
there
that
was
it was
enough to cover
be an
2
issue.
public ones. And then Kim Kleiner had said, everybody who uses those, every team who uses the fields, the cost would be split up, and I don't know how.
So is she taking that on? Is she
Well,
gonna
we-
take on
we-
who's,
We don't do any charging or billing. I believe she had said, I don't know if she's gonna reach out to them, if we give her a schedule of who uses it, what, and what seasons, I don't
Let me put it
know.
this way, so I was talking to Brian the other day, and, he's on the budget committee.
He's the
and
one who cut it.
They're fully expecting to pay, like, soccer's fully expecting to pay some sort of fee.
Yeah.
They actually thought that they were the ones who were gonna have to contract for it, and that's a question that came up, it's like, who's contracting for it? Is the town still contracting for
The
it?
town is contracting.
So in that case, then we're the ones who are pushing out the reservations of the fields. Therefore, we're gonna have to be the one, we may not be the one controlling the billing or anything, but we're the ones who are definitely gonna have to come up with some sort of schedule for in-town programs, like, not just even the nonprofits, to say, well, you guys using the field, summer, you're 75% usage, you're paying 75% of the fee this spring. Softball's using it 50% of the time, they gotta pay 50%, like, just just making
it
up
just seems
numbers,
like a
but,
nightmare. Like, how are you gonna figure that out?
I don't,
You have to, we're gonna have to
I
come
don't think
with
it's gonna be
some-
up to us,
some-
because the
something.
town contracted. I'm hoping the town's gonna figure that out.
Yeah, me too.
Well, here's the problem, it's our line item, it's not the town's line item.
No, our line item was cut to 1,500, I
Right.
believe, to cover 2
Right.
for public
But,
use.
but for our porta potties at our fields are under our budget. Correct?
They were last
They
year.
were, but not anymore, they're under 10.
That's presuming that we're gonna still provide them at all the fields, like, because we don't have a budget to do so.
No, Kim wants us to use, we have to use, she has a contract with whoever it is, and it was the best rate, and it's everybody any porta potties that go throughout Litchfield have to go through that, her price. And she had a discounted cleaning rate, and if somebody tips it or messes it up, a discounted cleaning rate, so.
Okay. So we'll wait
And
from
then
direction
the
from her on what to
discussion
do.
was, like, the one at the playground, a team shouldn't have to pay for one being used by playground all the time. I think we're gonna have to figure out how many porta potties there are. 2 of them are covered by rec, playground and the tennis courts. And then however many teams and however they figure it with the rest of the porta potties spread out, I think. I don't know. But I just don't know, like, if we're supposed to submit schedules to town hall, and if the leagues know they're
Anyway.
gonna have to
I
pay.
haven't gotten
Let's
any
bring it back,
direction.
let's
Sorry, yeah.
bring it back. let's
Deeper
bring it back to
discussion.
softball, because-
While you mention that though, we have been told to anticipate this as an issue, so just please let me know what our part of this is, because I'd love to come back and find a solution, and if we have to pay our fair share, we will. Obviously, we'll bring in extras for tournaments, but I know this is an issue, so just let us know how we can support, and I can come back if needed. I appreciate all of you. I'll definitely come back as soon as I possibly can to give practice nights back once we have all of ours straightened out. We're still intending just to use Wednesday, and we'll keep you all
So,
posted.
just a question, because as I quickly look through it, a lot of these requests are for Wednesday. You're definitely taking all 3 fields on Wednesdays?
Yes.
Okay.
That's been our practice night.
Got it.
And we try to coordinate with soccer so that girls can play both. So we keep Wednesday and they schedule around that. So I know our 3 main teams will be practicing on Wednesdays, yes.
I don't have the request in front of me, but was Sunday on there too? Is there any day that they're open?
No, we put it in for 7 days, but then once we get our schedule back, we're gonna scale it down to probably 1 or 2 weeknights and then the weekend
Okay.
mornings. And so like, we just put it in there for this exact reason, where if somebody wants to coach a 6U team and says, I can only do Mondays for
Yeah.
practice, we want it available.
Okay.
But our goal is to try to use just Wednesday and then Saturdays, aside from tournament requests, and then give everything back for use. So we're trying to be as minimal with our footprint as we can.
We approve that and that's on the calendar? All the
Their
states
their
marked
request?
out? Yeah.
Yes, their request
Yeah.
has already been approved. Yep.
It's not up.
It's almost like we need somebody to that just does all the scheduling. and-
That's what I've been
You
saying.
know, it's-
It takes up so much time
It'd be a nightmare.
scheduling, but we don't have a rec director to take care of scheduling and collecting fees, so.
All right, well, let us know how we can help, because we certainly will.
Yep.
All right, thank you,
All
guys.
right, thank you.
All right, so we'll move on to the facility and field requests. The first one we have is LMS.
I just want to say that one should have been on the last agenda. It did come in time.
Okay.
I can't remember. I was,
Who did
someone
it-
did the agenda for me, or it might have been the one before. Whatever the date is,
Steve.
so it was missed on the agenda.
Who did it come from?
Daniel DeForney.
Because I didn't see it, I don't see it in the emails anywhere.
So he might have sent it directly to me, and I think I forwarded it to Steve.
Okay.
Came in.
Well, this request is Litchfield Middle School lacrosse boys and girls games and practices. They do have a COI on file. They are requesting to use, so Dan DeFournier of Litchfield Middle School is requesting to use the Field 3 at Roy Memorial Park, which is the
think it's
green
Field
space,
2.
right?
Okay, this says, so is it, the request says Roy, it is a request, or this says, the agenda says Sawmill.
Yep, a sawmill.
Does-
Lacrosse.
No, the request says Roy Memorial Park, Field 3.
No, that's, I think that's a softball one.
No, Litchfield Memorial, this is LMS girls lacrosse, girls and boys lacrosse.
Hang on. They sent one blank one, they sent one partially filled out, and then they sent a third with, I might have printed the wrong one, with all boys and girls on the same one. All right, you want to go on to the 12U Plex and I'll find it?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
So there is a minor change to this one. I've spoken with after speaking with Mike and the girls softball league about the availability on Wednesday nights. They told us that was gonna be full, so I reached back out to Amber, and she's now requesting Thursday nights, even though this hasn't been updated. So this is Plex 12U softball. Coach Amber Doobie requesting Roy Memorial Park, any field that's available between April 9th to July 23rd for practices from 5 to 6:30. They are for-profit. We still need their COI. I reached out to her about that. And we need to discuss the fee structure as well, which I think just remains as it is for now, but being paid up front. So I'll take a motion to approve this request as stated.
So Thursday's available? Or are we?
As of
waiting?
right now, it's available. What Mike was just saying is he anticipates there might be some
Yeah.
need for Thursday night, but he won't know for another month.
Okay.
So as of right now, it's available.
Okay, I think I know what this situation is. They're,
Okay, let's finish this one.
oh, sorry, I thought you were.
How do
I'll
we-
I'll make a motion to approve it.
A second.
All right. Any discussion?
How do we collect the fee up front if we're not officially approving?
So, there's multiple things, right? Okay, so we got the COI we still need.
Yeah.
We still need to solidify the fee schedule, because that isn't, after last week's discussion, we don't have a solid fee schedule yet.
Right.
And then we have to talk about, are they definitely gonna get Thursdays if it comes back? Is it like, I would say this is a, subject to, it's still subject to the final schedule of,
Add that in.
LBA. So, you have all those questions around it, then collecting the fee schedule up front. Okay, so if it's approved for Thursdays, and we have the fee schedule, and we have the COI, then we can bill. So, yeah, there's multiple tiers behind,
Right.
I mean,
So don't, wouldn't be more beneficial just to kick it back to her and say, fill out the appropriate paperwork, send in the COI, and we'll bring it back up at the next meeting, which is in March?
So the appropriate paperwork being the.
Because she still has to
fee
fill it
schedule?
out with Thursday and then the COI.
Yeah.
Will you,
mean,
with the.
she's emailed me that she wants that.
Sometimes with the COI though, with the for-profits, they don't get it, or like if they're anticipating, like, just like with comedy night, they don't get it until it's approved. Because it's specific
heard
days
of
that
that.
list,
See,
that
that-
list the
see-
town of Litchfield.
See, I'll tell you this, Plex, the U16 team already sent around someone the COI for
So
theirs.
they must
So
anticipate
it would fall under the
being-
same COI then, because it's one organization.
Yeah, it should.
Okay.
So like when somebody reserves for comedy night, we don't get a COI until it's
No, but
Approved.
but again, it's the same
The
thing,
form.
the,
profit or whatever.
the,
Wouldn't you already have the
We-
COI because it's baseball and softball?
we conditionally approve the request.
Right,
Based
pending
on,
the COI.
pending on the receipt of the COI. So,
Like, all our town leagues play under Litchfield, so they have Litchfield listed. Do you know what I mean? As, at that bottom part, you have
they all
Thomas
need to,
Litchfield.
everyone needs.
But
like, you
wherever, if Plex regularly plays at the Plex complex, their insurance would have Plex.
Yeah, but
as
all
the
that is,
members, yeah.
legitimately, all that is a call, yeah, I need this changed, and
Okay,
they put in a different ride, they put in a different field they cover, and they send it back. You do it, like, again, because you have to do it, like, for soccer, right? You have to do it for both the school and the town. Because we used to use both fields, so you have to do it for both, two different certificates with that name different.
So I'm looking at the COI that the 16U team sent in. Where would Litchfield be named on there as the
On
insured?
the bottom left.
yeah,
Yeah, it should
bottom
be at the
left.
bottom left.
All right,
Yeah.
so yeah, so it says Plex 16U Perimeter, Premier River.
I think it
River
was
Yard.
town of Litchfield.
Yeah, it does.
No, it's Goffstown.
See, so they must be playing in Goffstown somewhere.
I think it's the coach's address. It looks like.
Oh, but on the bottom of with the insurance.
It'll say additionally insured, or
Yeah, it needs,
Something to that effect.
that needs to say additionally insured, or
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Under the certificate holder.
yes,
Usually at the,
Yeah.
like you're right, the bottom left.
it's a certificate.
Certificate.
Okay.
I can look at baseballs.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's what I'm looking at here. It looks like it's the coach specifically, so we can have them change that to Town of Litchfield before we review theirs. But I would assume that this would also cover the 12U team since it's the same organization.
Yeah, unless it specifically says, if it just says Plex softball, then they're all, but if it says 16U. Right, because like, well, LGSL, all the rec teams fall under the same.
It's USA Softball and members of the
JO.
JONH, New Hampshire Individual Registration Program. Herbert Boyce.
Yeah, honestly, I'd ask both. I'd ask both of them to produce it. If it's the same one, then fine. It shouldn't take them, should be easy enough for them to produce the same one if they're both covered. But, I mean, again, when you're talking about a for-profit business and you're talking about individual teams, I don't know how they cover it. I don't know if they break it up by team and each team gets their own, sub-policy or whatever, so.
Okay.
I would think it would be different because there's different levels of risk
Yeah,
at each
so
level.
This does not, certificate holder, it does not list the town. I don't see the town.
Why would just out of curiosity, why would the town be on the COA?
Is they're using our fields.
Yeah, we want to be covered by their insurance policy, so if somebody gets hurt.
Protect us. All right. So we can do a motion to approve this pending the COI and receipt of
LGSO.
of the fees. As far as the fees go, I'm not sure, I mean, if we get requests in now, we haven't changed the fees, I would assume that they'd fall into the current fee structure. I think we can go back and upcharge them after the fact.
And it has to be pending LGSL approval. So this does list Plex 16U, so they must have separate ones at the bottom.
Okay.
At the same time, I don't think we can charge other people different rates for this season if we've already charged somebody else something.
Right, have we charged anybody yet at this
Not
point?
this year.
We haven't
No.
approved anybody,
Not this year.
nobody's on the calendar yet.
Not that I know of.
I don't know either.
Peter, when you went through the schedule last last meeting, was the plan to bring it back up today?
Not necessarily tonight, but I can get it for the next meeting. If we want to kick it one more meeting out. Because then,
But nobody's gonna be able to use it anyway before then.
I guess I wonder what the harm is on kicking this one down, getting the fee schedule locked and loaded, be done, re-communicated out there. If they choose to accept it, they choose to accept it, then we move on.
I agree.
Also give softball, who's got first right of refusal, to get their house in order.
And that puts us 2 weeks closer to them figuring that out.
Yeah, and we should be able to do that and since they don't have all the proper paperwork in anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so we will table this one for now?
Yeah.
All right, we'll table this one for next week, or next meeting. Go
So,
back to the LMS
so
lacrosse.
it is, War Memorial Park. I think they must think 2 is the soccer field, because is that where lacrosse would be set up?
Field 2 is the front left.
Well, lacrosse wouldn't be using the softball
They're
field,
using
is
the-
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
they're
think they
using
would be
the
using
grassy
Cross
space.
uses all the grass,
the
right?
grass space, yeah. So that is for practices for boys and girls, and I believe girls' games, because boys' games has a request for Sawmill for the boys' games, just those specific dates.
So these are, this request is from March 31st till June 6th, from 2:30 to 5, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days a week.
3 to 5.
How is that affected by the fences that go up?
It's heavily affected by the fences that go up, but when do those go up? Those go, yeah, there was problems last year with soccer removing the sleeves that are in the ground. They ripped them out because they didn't want a kid sliding and getting cut up on it. So, yeah, the fences will be in the way for anybody that wants to use that grassy space for soccer or lacrosse or anything that's gonna need a large field like that.
So is there,
Because last year, middle school lacrosse did use that field their whole season.
I don't believe those fences went up.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember when those fences went up last year. I don't believe they went up until, I don't think they used them during the rec season. I think it was more for the tournament season.
Yeah.
So they
Right.
probably didn't go up until late spring anyway,
Have they been up for 1 year or 2?
2.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, because this is the same request that LMS had last year, where the girls, they both practice there, just like they do in the fall for soccer. They both practice there, and then the girls play there for their games, and the boys play down here for their games, because these fields are lined, the Sawmill fields are lined smaller, like, they're lined for boys' fields. They're not lined for girls' fields. Girls' fields are longer and wider. So, they've had that
Who knew?
there.
so it worked last year? with the fencing?
Yeah, I would just say that the fences couldn't go up till after June 16th, or 6th, or whatever.
And
it
that
was.
last week, I did ask the schools requesting to include tournament week, so that, or playoff week, so that we're not scrambling up last minute like we were last year trying to find, because the team made playoffs and they needed a place to play.
Yeah.
So I asked them to include that, so that does. So it may not go to 6-6, but they have it reserved there in case they go all the way through playoffs.
And this is what Rick was referring to when he came in about, using those fields for softball occasionally as overflow, right? That's what he was saying. He was referring to last year with lacrosse there at the same time and trying to coordinate, things. But again, coordination of school programs at a field
Should be on the
schools.
schools. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
right.
I would agree. So my laptop just died. What
But the
time does
softball
the
practices
practice start?
typically start before 5 o'clock?
they
Not
block,
usually,
No.
not that I remember.
at Roy,
Yeah,
they block the day.
Monday through Friday, they have the whole day.
Yep.
Softball? During the school day?
Well, they just did a
They block the
blanket.
fields, yeah.
Yeah.
They did 7 to 8.
7 days a week.
Oh,
Just weekdays, I think.
Just weekdays, so they didn't block anything on the weekend?
They must have, right. Yeah, every day, sorry.
Every day, 7 days a
You
week.
shouldn't have it during,
Well, but that's the thing, we have to do that for our blanket request because we don't know what the schedules are. So
like, they know they're not
obviously
gonna
during the
start
week,
practice
it's,
at noon,
Yeah.
the kids are in school.
right, but there's nothing to, like, for baseball, I know some coaches want to start at 5 p.m. Some
Yeah,
start at
so
5:30.
They'll be out,
Right,
it works
5,
with
usually
They
soccer,
offer
Yeah.
it's always worked with soccer, and soccer's.
It's always worked with
5.
soccer. Soccer's been there. The only time that I remember it being an issue is when pitches and catches was there and they didn't need the outfield anyway.
Right,
So-
I was gonna say, I thought field 2 or field 1 worked, one of them works.
2.
Field 2 works.
2.
So if somebody wanted a 4 o'clock practice,
Mm-hmm.
field 2 would be available, but typically they start,
Yeah. There was an issue with the way they positioned the field. They had to redo the position of the
Yeah.
field a couple of times last year. But, yeah, I would think they should at least be able to have one field available for use. And if it's 6U, they're not gonna need the outfield either, so.
Yeah, during the field itself, if you line a field there, it's taking up basically dirt to dirt,
Mhm.
all over. There's not, there's not really more room on the sides.
and the school
Talking about
can't
lacrosse
change
or
their
soccer?
schedule.
Both.
Can't change their game schedule.
The soccer field was always in the outfield when they put it down in
Yeah,
front of
with the
the,
soccer field, you have a little more leeway to make it smaller.
Yeah.
Like, I know years ago when I went to draw, we maxed it out, but it was still, wasn't really a full size, when would be what you term a full size lacrosse field, right? So that lacrosse field is gonna be probably into the dirt a little bit and probably almost fence to fence, because it's supposed to be 120 yards as opposed to 110.
Lacrosse ever played at Brickyard or no?
No, too small.
Too small, okay.
Yeah, we used to practice, when we first started lacrosse, it was before Sawmill, we'd have practices down there, but you can't, the field's not big enough to actually have to line a full field on it.
Got it.
so, unless there's an issue with LGSL using it before 5 o'clock, I don't think it'd be a problem with this.
And historically, it's never been a
They
problem.
just need to
so.
make sure they position the field correctly so that it doesn't block off everything.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve or did we already make a motion?
I don't believe we did.
I'll make a motion to approve the LMS lacrosse, team to use, it's Roy Memorial Park, the lacrosse field, from Monday through Friday, 2:30 to 5, 3:31 through 6:6.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Passes 6-0-0.
I just think for all fields, we need to make sure that, we open them, not, oh, we're just gonna go out and use it, right?
I agree,
So-
yeah.
And that's one of those caveats all the time, like, organizations will go out there if they can and use the fields, if someone's not, over them saying, hey, you guys can't, fields are closed until we let you know they're open.
So I can reach back out to him and let Dana know, and I'll talk about
Thank you.
making, trying to keep it as far back from the softball fields
Thank you.
as possible.
Did you want to add something?
No.
So there's another request on here, the Spirit of Litchfield, but I do not have a request form here.
We still have to motion the other request from LMS
Yeah,
softball.
so.
Just
you want
voted
to
on
talk-
it. Oh, LMS.
Yeah, for the boys' games.
LMS lacrosse.
So this is date specific.
Oh, okay.
So LMS boys' games, Sawmill Park Field 2. The dates are April 15th, April 22nd, April 24th, May 12th, and May 20th.
Did you make a motion on that, or are you just
So
reading?
those are the dates, Sawmill Field 2. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Sawmill Field 2.
All right,
What are the times?
2:30 to 5, same thing.
That would be covered under this then, because that was Monday through Friday, 2:30 to 5.
The boys' games.
Boys at Sawmill.
Are
Oh, it's
they
Sawmill,
have
sorry,
game- like
okay.
the girls will play, when the
Okay.
girls are playing at Royal Memorial, they'll be playing their games at Sawmill.
All right, yeah.
Makes sense. It's, the one thing we have to make sure, like, I know that they talk to Litchfield lacrosse, and hopefully Litchfield lacrosse is asking for some sort of like, in terms of, because when they go to sawmill, they use the nets that are a sawmill, right? The lining actually has to happen, and I don't know if the lining happens, I know Litchfield Lacrosse has to do the lines and pay for their own lines and everything, but like when you do a game there in the middle of the week, you almost have to line it again just to make sure it's all there. So I hope that LMS is talking with, Litchfield Lacrosse about, hey,
Can check with
we should
that.
be giving you something for this. Because, Litchfield Lacrosse isn't exactly a big nonprofit, right? So, just making sure, because, when you start pounding those nets, it doesn't take long.
Do you know who the contact would be for Litchfield Lacrosse? Because I can put it out there.
What was his name? He sent it in.
Did we confirm those dates are good for them to use at Sawmill?
Yeah, they'll be fine to
Yeah.
use it before,
Practice start.
5, yeah.
The only thing I noticed is he didn't go into June with those dates. So on the boys' games, he didn't include the playoff weeks, and I don't, where it goes through 6-6. What I can do is reach out to him and he's not gonna know the actual playoff date. He's gonna have to request a full week. So I don't know if we just wanna extend that, or if he has to, can we amend that to go
Would it be a separate?
through 6-6 for games? But they're not gonna have the playoff date games for
Right.
quite some time.
Till the end of the season.
One boy, last year, all of a sudden, there was like, Set a date
we
in
should
the
probably
field.
just amend it to cover any additional games due to
Playoffs.
rainouts or playoffs.
yeah, which would be through 6-6
Okay,
instead of 5/20.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
Steve Mahoney. He had sent you an email.
Yeah.
February.
Do I have a motion to approve those dates for boys lacrosse?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Passes
Oh, it was a yes, sorry.
All right,
And
passes
just so you know, we have this,
6-0-0.
sorry, the COI for all school sports teams.
Okay,
That runs through, they always resubmit July 1st or soon after
just a
that.
blanket by the school,
It's
covers
the
all the
school
school teams?
athletics, yeah.
Okay.
It's not by sport.
Okay, so now there is another request for, the Spirit of Litchfield. I don't have a form on that, so I don't,
We don't require one for use of parking lots. They just have let us know
Okay.
in the past that
Right.
they're using the parking lots for their scavenger hunt. It's
Okay.
kind of just
so
a,
Saturday, April 19th, 11 to 1. That's the Parker Park and Roy Memorial Park parking lots.
So the real question is from Roy Memorial Park, will there be softball going on at the same time? And, I mean, if there is, how busy is that area gonna be?
I don't think it'll be starting up by April 19th.
Probably not.
they
Usually late April. Yeah, it's usually late April,
Yeah.
early
Yeah.
May.
I mean, we haven't run into an issue any other years. They've been doing it for years.
Yeah, it's so wet out there too.
Easter's
It's a
late.
late Easter
Right,
this year.
that's why.
Yeah.
Last year was in March.
Yeah, usually softball starts like April
First week of
vacation or
May, I
after.
think.
Yeah.
There's always, isn't the parade, well, I don't know. Years ago, the parade was always earlier than like the real kickoff of the softball season. I don't know
They
if,
don't do the
They
parade
don't
anymore.
do
No more
They
parade?
don't do the parade
yeah,
anymore.
I'm
They
old.
haven't in years.
Yeah, I remember the big parade too.
No comment.
So that, it shouldn't be an issue because they won't,
Yeah, I don't think it would be. I mean, we could just let them know about it.
yeah.
So
On the 19th, do the softball have the full day blocked out again?
yeah.
Yeah, it's a Saturday. They usually have their games on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Do
I
we
don't
wanna
know
just
what
let
time.
both parties know? Like, let softball know what they're doing?
That parking lot's
It
huge.
is, yeah.
You know, I mean, we've never had a trouble with, they've done it at the baseball field before. It's never an issue. We're usually doing, like, I know our baseball season, we're not planning on starting until March 1st. I'm sorry, May
So
1st at
respond
this
back to
point,
her.
or beginning of May,
Yeah.
That was the one that
just
came
with the
Yeah.
amount of snow that we had, and
Yeah.
it's
So
gotta
you're
dry
letting
out.
them
Yeah, I'll respond back to the two that
Thank
I
you.
emailed.
And I'll take care of both.
I'll just give Mike a heads up.
Yep.
With LGSO. So that covers it for the facility and field requests. Moving on to new business, we have spring cleanup at Roy Memorial Park, playground mulch, rake beach, shed cleanup, inside and outside assemble cover for heating equipment outside of town hall, etc.
And trash barrels. I did a walk through the park today. Trash is already overflowing at the gate. So I can go out tomorrow and put out the trash barrel for the playground and the one at the tennis, the hoop courts, because those were being used today too with no trash barrel, so it's gonna be on the ground. I didn't have any bags with me today, so I can take care of that tomorrow. Those are the three that the town picks up at the entrance, at the hoop courts and the playground, and then the rest is up to whoever uses softball.
Okay.
But maybe someone can check with, Kevin Brown on, I don't know when the last time it was picked up at the gate, but we had let him know that we were leaving one there, because people do go in the winter, but I'll empty it tomorrow, because I'll bring a bag with me and
Thank you.
take care of it. But we definitely need to start getting that picked up weekly again,
Okay,
playground, courts.
all right, I can reach out to Kevin about
So I'll
that.
do that tomorrow. But, like the shed roof's supposed to be done, do we want to clean that out before and around it, before they go over there and do the roof?
A lot of,
Still
lot of valuables you're worried about in there?
Well, we should get rid of the junk anyway.
For my junk.
I think all that's really out there is like chairs and some hoses and stuff, tables.
Okay.
But-
On the other side of it is still all that fencing we didn't get to last year, and there's still an LMS soccer net. They just tossed it there, and now would be a good time for them to come and remove it, because it's not all overgrown yet.
So,
But they can't just like toss their old nets there and get new ones and expect us to.
yeah, if that's theirs, we should have them come and get it.
It's gotta be, they're the only ones who play soccer there.
Is it the net or the goalpost?
The goalpost.
Most golf.
Actually, I think that's soccer's.
Yeah.
No, I actually think that's
No,
LYSL.
this has been very, they
I think
leave
that's,
theirs out.
okay, so,
Oh, you think it
so,
relates to?
so LMS owns none of that.
Oh, they
The
don't?
net, the goalpost is, the goalpost is soccer's. That net, I think,
thought
was
it
supposed to
was
replace
theirs. Okay.
one of them long ago and never did. I think it's all belongs to, LYSL.
Okay. Is it salvageable? Is it?
No, it looks like it's broken. And there's no netting on it. It was just tossed there kind of into the woods.
So should we
Um,
just email the
I didn't think
league?
soccer doesn't,
Look it up.
LYSL doesn't even use War Memorial Park.
Well, it used to, and then the posts were left there as a courtesy, and then they were just left there as a courtesy. So they still, the school still uses them, but those posts belong to.
So the
LYSL.
two ones that the middle school uses, whoever they belong to, those are over by
It was about a
fencing.
fence, yeah.
This is kind of tossed back by the side of that shed, and it gets all overgrown once spring and summer gets here. But now, because everything's dead there, it could be pulled out and removed.
Yep.
They can't just leave it there. It's not even being used by them. It's just like, oh, we're done with it, it's trash, and leave it there for, we had to do that with basketball hoops, and I don't think we should leave it there on our property, it's trash.
I agree. It could become a hazard at some point too.
I don't like just throwing stuff up against the shed and letting it rot for years. But, there's a lot of work that needs to get done, and I don't know if we set 2 dates that people can make, or if
Maybe
we
we
do
Maybe
one.
we give soccer a hard date to come and get it, and if they don't come and get it, we just cut it up and take it to the dump.
Well, they'll probably say, yeah, you can take it to the dump.
Pretty much.
Because I don't think it's anything they use, but, there's just usually, Steve Gannon rakes the whole beach area and
Yep.
that for us.
Tractor.
I don't know that he's gonna be back with rec, but we have the whole cover to assemble, and that's in the garage, in the old fire station.
Oh, he's coming back. The tractor just pulls him. It's that magnificent. It just
So we've
pulls,
got a lot of
throws him
work
in.
to do over there, and
So when did we do it last year? Clean up?
I set up a date, but I think we put out for volunteers. But, we couldn't I had the mulch delivered, we had people spread that, Steve did I look back, Steve did the raking, but I think I was the only one with my husband for the rest of the stuff, and we couldn't do it all. We got rid of basketball hoops.
Yeah.
Let me see,
Do it.
April, we did it on I think we did it on a weeknight. Did we do it in May? Oh, that was a fishing derby.
I'm available,
I'll be able to find it on our Facebook page.
I'm available March 29th to do the heating structure.
March 29th?
Yep.
Okay.
I can drive the tractor and do that if Steve's not available too.
March 29th. March 29th, a Friday?
Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Oh, I'm in 2024 again. I'm available on the 29th too.
Yeah, it should be
To
available.
do some cleanup.
I'll just have to balance out with, you wanna do it in the morning?
I wouldn't be available until about 9:30.
That's fine, I'll have flag football that day, but we'll just do it at night.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So are you thinking just pick up the pieces, the boxes at the fire station, bring it over and assemble there?
Yeah.
Should I reach out to Tim and see if he's willing to donate some mulch again for under the swings?
Yes. I don't see why not.
And do you want me to put something out there again, seeing if we can get any help from the public? Because last year, we did have 2 or 3 guys who showed up with these massive blowers and got all the sand and stuff off the hoop courts.
So it might make sense too to reach out to basketball, right, to have them help.
Yeah, I did last year too. I
Softball.
reached out to softball and basketball, asked them to reach out to
Yep.
with their emails and,
Yeah, because I know for baseball, we put out like an email blast to
Yeah.
the whole organization.
Yeah, we did that.
And we'll usually get 40 or 50 people.
yeah.
Like when we do, so we have the Jeff Lane and the Schaefer Field. So, we'll put 2 people on the shed duty, 2 people on Snack Shack, and
Yeah,
Just kinda
no,
go
we
through it
had-
all.
The year before, we got a little bit more turnout, but it's never been great. You were with me the year before, when all the fallen trees on the beach, and we had to throw away our clothes after, because it smelled so bad. That was a mess. It won't be that messy, but, so I can, all right,
I was healthy enough to help.
so I can reach out to softball and basketball too and ask them if they can,
did you pick a date? Sorry.
Or
29th.
29th for the, for some of it, and then,
We can always assess afterwards and see.
Yeah.
how much
We
more
plan a
need to
date
do.
after that.
What time did you say?
9:30.
9:30 start.
Okay. Put it on my calendar.
All right, next we have we're moving the election off till next week, so that'll be
on the 25th.
tabled for now. For the old business, we have the fishing dock grant.
So I completed that. I asked Peter to look at it, and he did. It's been submitted, was 17 pages. I think I brought you a copy of it,
Oh, okay.
so we have a copy, and I have a copy for myself and a copy for the Board of Selectmen that I will get to them, so that they have a copy. It's not anything you could save electronically, and once the submission date and time was there, it disappears, so you couldn't go back in and print, you had to do it before. So, last year they had over 3,000 applications and 300 towns got grants, so that it's not a high percentage, but I don't know, Peter, I felt like we fit their criteria pretty well.
Yeah, so Judy did a fantastic job with this grant. It had a lot of different, qualifiers and areas that you had put in some data about the town. So she did a lot of work in writing, research, You did a great job aligning it with kind of goals of the grant, and really making the case for this as a great access opportunity for older adults in town, for not only themselves, but to, have activities with other generations, right? So,
Yeah.
just fantastic job, Judy.
I
Thank you
tried to
for-
push that, because we found, once we did the pickleball courts, then they were like, oh, we'll give free lessons to town. Oh, we're gonna support the sophomore class or junior class and help them raise funds, having a pickleball tournament. Seems like anything we've done, we put out the sophomore did the chess table for us, and a few older guys were using it, and then all of a sudden, kids on the playground want to learn, and then they started posting on the WhatsApp page, oh, and if any kids want to learn, we're gonna be there on this day, this time, come on over, and then they started teaching, the younger kids, so it's not just something for them to do. They're already talking, they wanna get fish and game in there, and it seems like anything we've done towards the older population just gets them more involved with the younger population, so I tried to really push that. A surprising fact of our residents in town, we have like 13.8% are veterans. Just-
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
And the average is like 7 or 8% per town, so we have a lot of veterans, and our over 50 population is much higher than the national trend. People just aren't leaving Litchfield. So those help us a lot in getting the
We
grant.
we
but
appreciate
it's
everything
a
the
lot
veterans
to-
do. Sure.
If we don't get a grant, then if we ever want to use impact fees, which we should be getting more, we know exactly what it's
Mhm.
going to cost, and I did budget a little bit more in case of inflation, or like I put a miscellaneous component in there. There may be, if we need a tractor for a tool, some piece for the tractor or something to keep up better grading, so it is ADA compliant or something like that, there'll be some money in there for that
Okay.
too, so. I did the best I could
Great job.
Thank you.
until I couldn't see straight anymore. And I was like, I can't
There's
look
a
at
lot,
this
there's
anymore.
a lot.
And thank you for taking the time to look through all that,
Sure.
those pages. So it's in, we don't hear till May.
Till May.
So, yeah, and then
Good luck.
if you are selected, then you get a check in June. And then you gotta have it has to be done by November 1st, and then a final report I would have to send in by the end of December. So we'll see.
Good luck. Be a nice addition down there if we can get it.
Yeah, it would be.
All right, so next we have the floor repair under the bathroom
Do
on
you
the
know where we stand with that?
left side, so it's actually the right side door in the bathroom
Oh,
vestibule.
right.
So I had agreed, I had committed myself to taking that on and getting some quotes. I haven't done that yet. Kevin Lynch was gonna mention a couple of contractors in town that have done work like that for other properties, but I haven't reached out to him to get those yet. So I will be sure to do that.
We should probably do it. Is basketball all done now?
No,
No.
actually, I was gonna mention that
Yeah, so
next.
maybe after
Yeah.
that end, so that it's freed up.
So that is a good lead-in, Judy, thank you. Got an email from Trixie Gardner. Some of the divisions ended this weekend, but some will continue a little bit longer with their playoff run. And she wanted to give us an update on times that they'll continue to use the gym until the 22nd. So LRBL will use using Talent Hall until the 22nd. All other times that are remaining, Mondays 5:30 to 7:30, Fridays 5 to 6, and Saturdays 10 to 12. Other than that, it should be free.
Yeah, and if it's a weekday morning, then we just let pickleball know.
No weekday mornings.
No, I mean, if that's when someone can come in for the floors.
Oh, I'm
Pickleball
sorry.
Can't be
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
They're really good with working around.
To repair the floors, I mean, I don't think it'll bother them if they're just
Okay.
doing an inspection to write up a quote, but to do the actual repair, yeah, they probably won't want people running around, stomping around on the floor while they're
Right.
under it. And then I have one other quick ad here. Got an email from Steve Gannon. He spoke with Dave Mellon.
Oh,
was
yeah, the
wondering
dumpsters.
when they want the dumpster service started. He mentioned April 1st. Can someone reach out to Dave and Kim K to confirm a date? So when do we think we
I
want
think
that?
after doing my walk around, I think April 1st.
April 1st is a good one.
There's some trash in there, and then I've got to empty what's there, so,
Okay,
what date, what are we at? Yeah, so that's like 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks away.
3
Because
weeks,
it's starting to, activity's starting to pick up there.
yeah, especially with the
Yeah.
60-degree weather, right?
Yeah,
A lot of people are walking dogs today.
and playground and the basketball
Yep.
courts were being used, so.
All right,
So I agree with the April 1st date.
okay. I can
I mean,
let
we don't want
Kim and Dave know.
trash sitting in there till May or June, that's too long. Once that dumpster.
well, no, April 1st, it's like the alternate date's like April 15th, right? Like, it's not, we're not talking about waiting until May, so. We wouldn't be.
Yeah, but
So
I
would
think,
say April 1st.
the dumpster, I think it's usually, he's always done like the beginning of the month, right?
I'm not sure.
I have it
don't
written
know.
somewhere. So.
I just let him know.
I think April 1st, because of the playground and the basketball courts.
Yeah, no, I think it's, yeah. So that's the other question, while we're talking about that, should we, porta potty scheduled to be delivered April 1st? Right around there
We have an
Believe
email
it's in the
somewhere. The one
contract.
at Dara's already there.
too? Well, the one that Dara
Yes,
is, but
it
like,
is,
I
yeah.
believe it's stated in the contract.
April 1st?
Yeah.
I don't remember what date it is, but yeah, I
Okay.
believe it's stated in the contract when the months it's serviced through, so.
The one thing we do need to check on is, so that we know, is what day it gets cleaned and emptied. Because I did go in, because you know I check them. And this company does keep a calendar, but sometimes it's 7 days, sometimes it's 12 days, sometimes it seems like it's not a consistent day of the week that's happening. And it's good for us to know if it's a Monday and somebody's got a tournament, or we know we have, I don't know, Spring Fest or Fall Fest on a weekend that we might have to have it emptied ahead of time. So it's good for us to know what day of the week. I can reach out and check with Kim, but I took a screenshot of the dates it's been done, and it's not been like any consistent, sometimes not once a week, sometimes once a week.
Yep.
So we definitely want once a week, anyway, during the sports season.
I would think
Yep.
so, yep.
Makes sense. All right, so I'll reach out to Kim and Dave about the dumpster service, so also
Do you want to check with Kim at the same time?
the toilets, yeah, and also where that's gonna stand in the budget, get more clarification on that. All right, moving on to other business, we have, the New Hampshire Fish and Game Learn to Fish, Saturday, April 19th and May 10th, 9 AM to 3 PM, and that's gonna be at Roy Memorial Park. I believe under the
Conservation.
under the pavilion, right?
I think they're using pavilion and the
Talent.
beach, and talent hall open
as a
for like emergency
yeah.
type of thing.
As a backup. Then we have emails for the month of March is Justin. For April, we have Jeff, and May, we have Steve G,
Steve Gannon, if he
comes back.
comes back.
reserved for him.
Yeah,
I should have put Selectmen's rep.
yeah. All right, and our next meeting date is March 25th, followed by April 8th. Any other business to discuss?
I have other business. So tonight is the final meeting for Mike Bosky after 9 years of service
Wow.
to the Recreation Commission. So I thought it was worth a moment to, number one, thank you, Mike, for your service, and just reflect on all that you've accomplished and been part of over that very impressive stretch. So, first of all, your leadership with Sawmill and La Crosse, obviously that facility is just a bedrock for the town now. Gets incredible usage. You've helped us to steward it, been very thoughtful in our approach to that in particular. But that is certainly something that I don't know where it would be without your leadership, not only to bring it about, but help us kind of think about how best to use it and engage the clubs on that piece. So thank you for that in particular. But there's been a lot of other expansion during your time here. So I can only imagine thinking back to where the town was when you started and envision what we now have with things like the River Access Project or the Justin Brissett Fields or the pickleball courts, right? talent. I know we probably didn't get as far as you would like on talent, but really, I mean, in that almost decade, the town has improved significantly, and you've been a big part of that in those projects, and again, helping us steward the use of those fields and facilities over the years. And so there's a lot of residents in town that, don't know that you've served on the board for this long, but you've made an impact in their lives and the quality of the community. And just want to thank you for your time on this board.
Thank you.
Well said, Peter.
Yeah, well said. As always, Peter, thank you. Again, I've been glad to serve on the board. You guys have made it easy in the last 6 years. You guys have made it easy to serve, right? It's everyone's willingness to help out. Everyone's willingness to always pitch in and do something. You know what I mean? I joined at a time where the board was kind of in transition. John Bryan was still here. Andy Collins was still here. They were the main drivers at that point. It was really small. So it's become a long way. You know what I mean? The rec commission, we try to do everything. I mean, I think it's just one of those things, like, as much as we've expanded services and things, again, it's just a continuation of the people who've served on this board before, the expansion of Sawmill, before that, the expansion of Dara, all those things came along probably since I've moved to town, which is 20 years, right? In the last 20 years, there's been a lot of growth in terms of town fields, town facilities, everything we do. Again, it's kind of crazy, that we do a lot of what we do on the budget we have for as much as we do. And you figure that we're pretty much doing it on a similar budget as we were doing, years ago when there was just Dara, just Innis, and that was it, right? Those are the fields in town, and Corning. There were 3 fields, and that was it, and that's what it was done. And the budget's really not grown a whole heck of a lot, and we're still providing a high level of service for all those. So everyone on this commission should be recognized for what we do in terms of, the amount of dedication it takes to do all this on what little funds we have to do it on, and a lot of it's done on volunteer time. So glad I served, glad I jumped in, but it's also time for me to go. Things are just too busy now, so.
I'm going to miss Steve Gannon butchering your name. Most. I mean, I'm just gonna go out there and say it. Seriously, Mike, thank you for everything.
Yes.
I really appreciate the time served with you.
Yeah. Likewise, Mike, thank you very much. Put in a lot of work for sure, and it shows. Is there anything else? That was it? All right. And if nobody has anything else, I will accept the motion to adjourn.
Mike?
Second.
No, nobody made a motion yet.
Oh,
I'll motion. I'll motion my final meeting.
I'm trying to move it along. I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, abstained, passes 6-0-0. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Every time Andy looks at his watch, it makes me nervous. You haven't timed me in a long time.
Well, I ate dinner before I came tonight.
Yeah, the fast meetings